late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor Jay and Ren.
WESN.
We are serving up something a little different. It's a conversation about passion, professionalism, and purpose in the food service industry. Author Charmaine Rivers joins us to discuss her new book, The Joy of Service, for the professional food server. It's a guide that not only celebrates the dignity of the role, but also reminds us that great service is about much more than taking orders. It's about connection, pride, and excellence. Good morning, Ms. Rivers. Welcome
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, well, congratulations on your new book. What inspired you to write The Joy of Service?
I have been in this industry for 31 years to be exact. And what I've noticed is that customer service is not at the forefront, not just at restaurants, but food trucks, anywhere, doctors' offices, law firms, anybody that interacts with normal customers, patrons. We have our inability to serve and just do it kind and be polite and courteous. Oh my God, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you? So now knowing that we understand that service is usually bad in this country, why did you choose to focus specifically on professional food services, and what makes your role so vital in the hospitality industry?
Hospitality, like I said, it is a career. A lot of persons look at it as a stepping stone, or just a filler job. I'm just going to, I'm going to be a server. And it's okay, but I think once you get there, is to really develop this skill. Because when people come to you, it's an experience they're expecting. It's not just about the food, it's about the service that make people come back. It's about the little things, the good morning, the good afternoon, the thank you. Can I help you? Oh my gosh, it's just the little things that matters.
Yeah. So the title speaks of joy. How do you define joy in the context of service, and why is it important?
Listen, Gail, anybody could tell you I love my job. I love what I do. I have been manager of food and beverage services at the Office of the Parliament for 17 years. Prior to that was Cape Rock Hotel for 9 years, where I was dining room manager for both restaurants. And it doesn't matter. For me as a manager, I roll up my sleeve. I think if you find pride in what you do and that passion, girl, I just love to serve. And there was no other name fitting for service than the joy. Because once you love what you do, it's not even work anymore.
Yeah. So was this book shaped by your personal experiences?
It definitely was. Over the years, like I said, is the level of inconsistent service that people receive. But last year, July, Hotel School Tobago reached out to me to conduct, to facilitate classes, Accelerate Your Ambition, where they were training persons for hospitality industries in Tobago, hotels, guest houses and stuff. And one of the things that I had to teach was the professional food server, but there was absolutely no book on it. There was nothing on it.
Okay.
And I started to document, and I had my staff every day coming and be role playing and documenting and writing. And I said, no, I have to get this right.
Yeah. So at what point of your career did you realize this was a passion? Because based on what you're saying, the joy of serving, in order to serve well, you have to have a love for it, a joy for it, a passion for it.
I think I often say it's from small. I always love serving. From small, any family gatherings, I'm always there helping. You get invited, but I go in people's kitchen, help and serve. It's just something. I love to see people smile. I love to exceed. I love to exceed expectations. You know, when you pay attention to emotional intelligence, people, they can tell, something wrong. What can I do to brighten that person's day?
Yeah.
And that is where it came from. So that was from small, probably about 10 years.
Yeah. Can you give us one specific example from your expansive career where, you know, you would have felt like this is what I love to do?
I think when I started to train, when I was at Hotel School Tobago, and I went to Cocoa Reef as a trainee, when I got there, of course, being Trinidadian, it was just two of us, 2 students went. And when I started to actually work in the industry and serve persons, I said, this is me. This is it, yeah. So it wasn't even about being a manager at that point. I didn't want to stay in the office. I wanted to come down and pour tea and pour coffee and say good morning and take reservations. Yeah, that's when I knew this is for me.
So, okay, let's talk about some of the key takeaways or the themes of the book, right? So, key principles or messages that you hope readers would take away from it once they begin reading or on completion.
Once the book was designed, it was intentional. The size of the book, it is easy to put into your handbag. It's like a coach. Every aspect of service in the hospitality industry, every aspect, from taking a reservation to presenting a bill, it's written as a documented guide, step by step. So if it is that you're unsure of how to approach, you open the book, it tells you what to do step by step. Go to the customer, say good morning, identify yourself, the time of day, because I hate people to say good day. There's nothing like good day. It's good morning, it's good afternoon, it's good evening. And those little things do matter.
Yes.
It just makes you the professional that, you know, you want to be. People see you differently.
Yes.
Because, let's be real, in the service industry, a lot of persons look at it more as servitude, that obligation to serve, instead of, I get to do this, I love doing this. And then people will respect you differently. Yes,
it's more or less treated as, this is, I'm coming to work, this is my job.
And let me just do it and go. And that's it. And I never want persons in the industry to feel that way.
So how do you think persons in the industry can raise the standard of their work? And I know attitude will play a big part, but how can they, you know, how can the standard of their work or their attitude increase to better serve the customer?
I think it's a skill. So a lot of times persons open a restaurant or you buy a food truck. It's prettiest design, decor, ambience, but they take persons, unskilled persons, and just put them in that space. What would you expect? If you don't train, see, if that's skilled, if you want to be better at your job, it's just to learn and develop yourself. You don't have to wait for the employer to do it. It's about bettering yourself, to getting the skills. So the book is actually showing you, it's a guide for the skills for you to be better. Because if you want to be just like you, for your job, you can't just sit and say, oh, well, I'm just going to be a journalist and I'm going, no. You want to do things every day that will put you in a better position. It's just like me. So apart from doing this, that's why I went and do etiquette training. And not just at the American School of Protocol, but with Burma etiquette, with the Eileen Donahue from Ireland. You want to really people to understand the concept of service and why it's important.
How do you see the connection between service and personal growth or personal development?
In any industry is service, and personal development plays an important role. Even if I tell all my employees, even if you come in as a server at the bottom of the barrel, it doesn't mean you stay there. Once you, I mean, everybody's not academically inclined, which is understood. Everybody's not that, but everybody has a chance and a potential to succeed. There's so many courses you can do for your own personal development, which will help you, because once you see you grow mentally and you grow emotionally, of course, you will grow anyhow you put in any industry you go into. It's just about taking the time and investing in you as a person.
Yes, you have to have the drive and the care. You have to care about yourself. I think,
You have to. It's just about doing that, caring about who you are and the job that you're doing and loving what you do.
Yes. So I think, you know, we're kind of the food or service industry would have evolved in a sense, and now we're kind of in an era of fast food and technology. So, you know, how can we preserve the human touch in hospitality when it comes to these fast food or, you know, food chains, these interactions where you're in a drive-through ordering, or you go to an outlet, a food outlet, and you have to make an order? That is still, to me, that is, you still have to be hospitable.
Of course, and it still have to be professional, not just hospitable, but professional. It doesn't matter. It could be a fast food, and even for the new person that's opening a food truck, that human interaction. Good morning, how can I help you? We have this, and it's not, we don't have this today, but give us a solution. We don't have, but what I can tell you, we have this. Would you like to try? It's just about giving suggestions, just about having that, again, if you love what you do, it is not that you're working hard, and that is the thing. So food trucks, restaurants, doctor's offices, anywhere there's a interaction with persons, oh gosh, just stop and say hi, good morning.
Yes.
Your brand, you're the ambassador for the place that you're working.
So this book, it touches on all those aspects, not just restaurants, but as you said, the food trucks, the fast food chains.
Everybody that is in the food industry, every person that is in the food industry. I mean, I would love, my dream is to see persons when you go, listen, we go out, my sisters say, can you not say anything today? And I say, I would really try. And you go and there's so many restaurants, and when you go, you expect that, your expectations are low, because when you walk in, they're congregating. They turn like, it's like you're bothering them. Hi, it's like, hi, you know, any service,
I've
what's going on? It's like,
experienced
I didn't want to call the restaurants. And I can go right now on the same, and this is a huge food chain.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it you can't stop and know there's no congregating at the front? And your most important person is your guest. Why?
Yes. Yeah. So I know, okay, so your book targets the server, you know, the professional server. What about the customer? Because I think, you know, do you think in the Caribbean our servers receive enough respect for their work by the customer, and if, you know, how can that perception be changed if not?
I think so. That's a really interesting question, because I often say if you do your job with that level of pride and professionalism, people would treat you as such, as that professional that you are. But if you come and you give mediocre service and you don't care, why should I treat you? Why in somebody else's mind, why should they treat you with some level of respect? You don't respect me as a customer. And that is it. So I think once you do your job with that level of professionalism, you can't tell me nobody would respect you for that.
I think, I mean, sometimes there are cases where the customer might come in with already a bad attitude, you know, and it's up to the server, the person serving you to keep a level of professionalism, decorum, but sometimes that's hard for people.
And it takes a special,
and suppressing your emotions and realizing, okay, I have a job to do, but it's I think serving is one of the most underrated jobs, underrated things that you can do, because dealing with people is not always easy.
It isn't. But at the end of the day, like even when I trained a restaurant last week, and I was telling the servers, yes, but some customers, they're so challenging. I say, yes, it takes a special kind of person to be a server. And once you understand your job, I mean, there are times in your head you say, oh God, I can't deal. But nobody should ever see that on your face.
Yes.
So even if I don't like how I'm being treated when I come with that level of, I would still maintain that level of professionalism. And if it's really difficult, then you get somebody else to handle it. Bring the manager, get them involved. But you never, never, never show disrespect to your guests at no point in time.
Is it true that the customer is always right?
I knew. So I'm an owner. I own House of Tea in Arima. And I have had instances where I had to put customers out because you're really being disrespectful to staff. And you're being difficult and you're being challenging. And it's when challenging is one thing, but disrespectful to staff for no reason, no. Yes, the customer, people say on one hand, the customer is always right because they're the person that pay our bills. All right? Without customers coming, we have no business.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, as a manager, you have to understand, or owner of a place, you have to understand, No, they're not always right. And you have to stand up for your staff as well. So you could go and have a conversation with that customer and let them know, okay, I understand how you feel, but this is the guideline. This is how we manage this place.
Yes.
But it's about having conversation and really communicating with the person.
Right. So what advice would you give to young people entering the field who may not see this as a long-term career?
Listen, Girl, I don't understand. Hospitality is a career. I have been here 31 years. And it's something I love, and I can't see myself doing anything different. Even at Parliament, you know, where I'm not supposed to serve, I'm still serving and pointing for members. I love what I do. I would tell persons, even if it's a stepping stone, make it one of the best stones to step on. Because this is only going to help you in your future, really. Be the professional that you can be. It's a blessing to serve persons, you know. Not everybody could do it. To take a job with that level of pride, listen, it'll take you places you know. I live by a quote that says, good manners can open doors, the best education cannot. I live by that quote. It's by Clarence Thomas. And I wish people to understand it. If you understand your job, nobody can look at you and you can't see yourself as just being it's an obligation to serve.
Yes.
No, it's something you get to do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, so do you, can you give us a little excerpt from your book, read one or two lines?
From it?
Just to give the viewers an idea of what
it is?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about, I'll tell you one of the things that I hate. So, as servers, I often think we need to polish up ourselves, right? So I have, in part of the book is, instead of saying, try saying. So one of the things like we love to say is, yeah, sure. And one of the things you could say, certainly. It just sounds so much more professional and so much more tasteful. We like to say, no problem. No problem is a problem. So if I'm asking somebody, say, no problem, why can't I just say, certainly, ma'am? I can get that for you.
Yeah.
There are things, sign here. You could sign here. Can you just approve? It's just making you the more polished person and the more professional person. I believe, it's in the greeting time, like I said, I have a problem when people come and say, good day. There's nothing like good day. It's good morning, it's good afternoon, it's good evening. And it tells you why. Good morning from the time 12:01 to 11:59. It's just things that would really help us truly better ourselves.
It's in the detail.
It's the detail.
Yes.
It's paying attention to the small things that people overlook.
Yeah.
You know, and the communication, why it's important to watch customers in the eye and to smile. And how it's so important for you to understand that even when you're on the phone, I'm sure sometimes you call a friend and they say, what happened to you today? Why are you sounding like that? They haven't seen you. But just from the tone of your voice, they understand that something is wrong. So all that in telephone etiquette, it tells you, no, you have to have a warm smile. Even when you pick up the phone, you have to smile. You can hear a smile. You know? So those are the things that's in the book. I mean, your parents, the major sin of a server is leaving somebody with a menu in their hand for too long. It makes them feel that you're not interested or just not acknowledging. So it tells you why not to do things and what you should do.
Yes. I think these are little things that we know. When we hear it, we're like, oh yeah, I know that. But we don't necessarily, we're not aware of how important it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're very correct. And it's, like I say, it's every aspect, attributes of a great server, not just a good server, but a great server. It's about being knowledgeable, about having that positive attitude, you know, about being organized, punctual. You have to understand, if the restaurant opens at 6 and it's supposed to be there at 5:30 and you come at 6, you're late. You come at 5:30, you're late because it takes time for you to put on your bag, to go. And you can't tell a guest, well, Shamina's late today, so no, they don't want to hear that. No. And those things is what makes you and separates you from the other person.
I agree. So let's talk a little bit of the writing of the book. So what was the writing process like for you, and were there any challenges?
But I think for me, honestly, because I've been this in 35 years, it's easy to role play and do it. So for me, what I would have done with my staff, I would have had them there role playing. No, change our tablecloth. No, that's not the first thing. The first thing, they put one over. And just documenting. Then I had to do a PowerPoint for the students. And from the PowerPoint, I had a team of persons and came together and summarized it and started to write down. Because remember, most times food servers are persons who didn't do academically well in school. Let us be real.
Okay.
All right? It doesn't mean that they can't have a lucrative business. It doesn't mean that they can't achieve. I have staff who works with me part-time. They're presently employed at great hotels, and they would tell you their service charge alone, sometimes $7,000 a fortnight.
Yeah, wow.
I had a staff who tips for Carnival alone was $22,000.
Wow.
So, and that happened because she's great at what she does. So these are people I would have taken and sat with, and no, that's not it. So it was days and hours, and they probably was getting upset. So they had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I was just, no, from the beginning, let's do this over. No, I'm missing a step. That is not what you do. Walk out that door, come back in. You pretend you're the receptionist. No, that is incorrect. It took hours and days and months, but that was the process. And I had a great team around me. I had Leah and Ebony who would have, really kind of put it together after I would have sent everything forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have, is this book, the one and only? Do you have plans to create more in the future?
I definitely want to do one on etiquette because I am big on etiquette and customer service. Even though I train, I specialize in food and beverage management, of course, training persons for the industry, to be a consultant for restaurants and stuff. I also do a lot of work with customer service because, well, I told you my pet peeve for customer service and bad customer service. And I don't believe it's either it's bad or it's good.
Yes.
There's no middle, there's no gray line in between. No, it's either it's good customer service or bad customer service.
I think I can say when the customer service is bad, it ruins the entire experience of just sitting down and dining and eating. And it really, I think the other day recently, I was at a restaurant, and I was by myself. I took myself out. It was just one of those things. I'm like, I'm going to take myself out. And I remember being on the phone with my friend afterwards because she asked me, how did it go? And I'm like, that was the worst experience of my life because I was alone, and I didn't have anybody to talk to share the experience with. So obviously, I'm way more aware of what's happening around me, of how the waitresses and waiters are treating me, just the service all around. And it was the worst experience of my life. I wouldn't say where I was, but it was just, I felt it. I was like, I didn't enjoy it. Even eating the food was great, but the experience overall was just horrible. Like the wait time was long. I think the restaurant was busy as well, so that could have been a factor, but it was just...
But let me ask you, would you go back there again?
Alone, no.
And that's my point. I often say, you can have the best food and customer service isn't good, you would hardly ever go back.
Yeah.
You could have great customer service and the food wasn't good, we make an excuse for the chef and say, today was a bad day in the kitchen, probably. Because the service was so good, you're going to go back.
Yes.
And people don't understand. When you understand that, that is what makes the difference.
Yeah, because I think as a customer, you might if you go to dinner with friends or family, having conversation, being with people that you enjoy being around, you kind of dismiss or you don't necessarily realize how the customer service is at the point in time. So being by myself, I think that's where I was like, I've never come here and it was this bad. Or maybe I just didn't realize it was this bad.
Exactly. Because you're always you're conversing with someone, so you don't realize you wait time for the food. Or you don't realize, they haven't even acknowledged us yet.
Yes.
You don't realize because the conversation is so good.
Yes.
But that is my problem, my customer service. So even at my establishment, House of Tea, is something I pay great attention to. Because I often say, see, from that time you pick up that telephone to make that reservation, that customer, even if they don't want to come on that day, they must want to come some other time because you were so kind and so polite and so knowledgeable.
Yes, and I think too, if when you call to make a reservation, if they're not polite on the phone or you're not hearing, it sounds like they're stressed, it sounds like they're having a bad day, you kind of, now your entire perception now
changes.
Yeah, and by the time you get to the restaurant, you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I've experienced that. It's
expectations,
true.
you already have lowered the expectations. You don't expect anything great there.
Yes.
And that was the reason. So even in every aspect of my journey, in doing etiquette, where I train for etiquette because I believe every person deserves and have to understand etiquette is for everyone.
Yes.
It's not just for what school you go to, it's for all schools, it's for every person in every walk of life.
Yes.
So merging the etiquette together with the training, with the customer service, I said, no, no. I have to.
It was much needed.
Yeah, it is needed.
Yes. So where can we get this book? Where can we find the book?
Presently, we have it at House of Tea. So you can get it at House of Tea in Arima. You can call, what's House of Tea number? I'll have to give the number. I don't remember it offhand. As well as it's going to be in bookstores from next week.
Okay.
So, yes, and it's on Amazon.
Okay. What bookstores do you,
Well, we're going to have a series, girl. I'm not sure. We're going to have a whole suite of bookstores.
Okay.
It's just me to pinpoint. But definitely we're going to have it in bookstores as of next week.
Do you have a cost point?
It's going to be between $200 and $230. Getting it from House of Tea is going to be $200. I think the bookstore is probably going to have it for $230. But yes.
So
and Amazon is, I think, like 22 something. But it's a soft copy.
We got the number for House of Tea. So it's 728-3081.
Thank you.
Yes. So if you are interested in getting the book, can I?
Of course.
Yeah. So this is the book. If you are interested in getting this book, The Joy of Serving, you can contact House of Tea 728-3081, and that would, and you can order a book. Like Charmaine said, it would be in bookstores soon from
next week, from next week, maybe like this week, Wednesday.
Right, and the cost starts at $200, or you can order the book on Amazon. So I think we ought to really have a look at the book. The cover, everything feels, it feels great in the hand, especially. So this is something I have not seen before. So well done. I really do think that this is much needed, because not even in the food industry, but just customer service on the whole, in retail, in malls, and there's this thing that Trinidadians have, like with Pennywise customer service. Even that alone, oh my gosh, people talk about it. It's something, and to say that it's trending, I don't know if persons feel like it's cool, it's funny.
Yeah.
Because we make jokes about it all the time, but it's so important. And I personally deal with people on a daily, and not just here, but with my mom. She has a swim school, so we're constantly dealing with customers. We are providing a service, and I think anytime you're providing a service, it's always important to keep a smile on your face, to interact with the most positive attitude that you can, and it's not hard. It's not easy, but as long as you love what you do, I think it comes naturally, and definitely. I see that with you. Yes. 100%.
Love. Can't see myself doing anything else.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Charmaine, for joining us on the program this morning, and we, when you do create your etiquette book, yes. I would love to have you back on, because this conversation was definitely enlightening and very interesting.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure being here. And please, I would just like Trinidad and Tobago to know it just takes nothing to be nice, to be kind, to just, you never know, just to give people that experience and exceed. The aim is always exceeding customers' expectations.
Yes.
It's an experience.
Oh, yes.
So.
Oh, my gosh. Could not have said that better. I 100% agree, because I've experienced bad customer service on many different levels, different situations, different places, and it is difficult. So this is really nice. Would you possibly consider, this book being in education institutions?
I know we almost finished. Yeah. Just have to say that my aim, Serve already adopted it for their school, for hospitality, Tobago Hotel School as well. My aim is to get it in the government, or secondary schools, because like I say, a lot of persons may not be academically inclined, but there's a whole career out there. Yes. There's cruise ship, there's the restaurant industry, hospitality, the hotel industry. And I really would want to get, I called the ministry yesterday to see how I can get it on the curriculum and get it in each library in the government on secondary schools.
Yeah, Yes.
So that is my aim. So I'm working on that. Fingers
Yes.
crossed. Fingers crossed.
Well, I wish you all the best
Thank
with
you so
that.
much. Thank you.
So that was Charmaine Rivers on her book, The Joy of Serving. So when you get a chance, take a look at it. You can find the book on Amazon, or you can call House of Tea at 728-3081. All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue on with another conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I am Dr. Delphina Ovid, your friendly neighborhood dentist. At Community Hospital Dental Clinic, we offer examinations which include x-rays, basic oral cancer screening, and a treatment plan. We also offer cleanings, fillings, extractions, root canal treatment, and complete and partial dentures. Remember, you don't have to brush and floss all your teeth, just the ones you want to keep.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
Where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity, from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish.
And I'm Jada McLeod. All right. So, in a world where technology and security continue to intersect, a new partnership is taking flight. Literally. The Aviation Security and Tactical Institute, better known as ASTI, has teamed up with Air Support Tactical Security Limited to launch a drone training program. This collaboration promises to open up new opportunities for training, innovation, and job creation in the field of aerial security and surveillance. Joining us now to discuss this exciting initiative are Mr. Jason Singh, the Business Support Manager at ASTI, and Amafika Luke, drone lecturer and a former member of the TTDF. Good morning, guys. Welcome.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you guys? Thank you for having us here.
Of course. How are
Greatly
you guys
appreciate.
doing?
I'm fine, actually.
Yeah.
Excited
Tired,
to be
but
here.
Yeah, it's a really early morning. I don't know, what was the drive up?
No, the drive was good. I was actually tired, but because Monique slept for about 2 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you're running on E.
I went to bed early last night, so I'm hopefully I look camera ready like you guys do. So.
Were you a Boy Scout?
Yes, I was.
I could have told.
Right.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about the partnership in general between ASTI and Air Support Tactical? Why was that necessary?
Right. Well, drones is not a new technology, but it is something that it's expanded and evolved and exploded so much in the last years. There's been, the initial introduction, and the market was relatively small. It was for select people. Then it's expanded to the consumers and the enterprise side and the different applications. So what we want to do, especially in this region, in the Caribbean region, not just Trinidad and Tobago, but everywhere, we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page operating ethically, following the local restrictions, regulations, laws, take everything into account and be able to safely operate these. Because there are toys and there are hobbyists, but there are so many different applications. We need to consider not just personal security, but national security as well. So that's where Mr. Luke and his experience and expertise comes in, and all of these services that Air Support provides for the region. Mr. Luke?
Yeah, so for me, it started off like a hobbyist, you know, just wanting to fly and stuff. And over time, I realized that, hey, this is something that we use to make work life easier. And work life as a former soldier would have been safety, security for the men on the ground. So it was a passion that developed. It started off as I'm watching everyone flying their drones, and it's more or less for parties or for weddings. And it's like, hey, we can do so much more. We can do so much more. Because for me, I am thinking the big picture, as big as possible. So I'm looking at national security, I'm looking at agriculture, I'm looking at construction, I'm looking at search and rescue, all the different aspects that can make it easier. Because when you have a drone in the air, you don't have to deal with traffic. You can go from point A to point B in under a minute. It's nothing you have to worry about up there. And then you have the overall view of everything is on the ground. So it's not like you have to be continuously following a subject. You can be as high as zoom in, and you have the full picture. So I was looking at all of these things, and when I had approached ASTI before, I spoke to Dr. Peters. He's the dean, and when I asked him, I said, hey, you have any programs dealing with drones and stuff? He said, well, we have, but it's not really in depth. So we had a conversation for about roughly half an hour. When I actually went to the office for the first time, he wasn't there. And as I was leaving, he was walking in. And we actually started a conversation over a car. And I said, bit by chance, you and Dr. Peters? He said, yeah. And we started to talk, and it's like, and right there on the spot, he said, here, what? I feel like it hire you know? I said, not now, not right now. Because at the time I was in Defense Force and stuff. So it was rather interesting. So when I fast forward, let's say 6 months to a year later, I came to him, we spoke in depth. He said, can you do a manual for me? I said, yeah, I could do a manual for you. He said, that's a little training manual. So no problem. And the training manual, which was supposed to be about 15 pages, turned out to be a
short compilation.
Turned out to be a book, a literal book.
How long is the book? Can I read it in a day?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Can't read it in a day. So when I gave it to him, I submitted it. He called me back. He said, Luke, we have a problem. I said, what is the problem? This is not what I expected. I expected a small pamphlet, you know. He said, this is not a certificate, a 2-3 day class. This is classes. And we started to develop the program. So it took like 2 years actually. And it was 2 years of a lot of late nights, research, and then it is just to compile everything, to make everything fit. So my aunt, actually everything I do, I try to go back to her for advice. So when I'm typing, I do a section or whatnot, I bring it to her. She reviews it, you know, okay, make an error here, do it, and that's how we would have been going. And when it was finished, how it was designed in such a way that as time changes, it could evolve as well, because technology is something that's always changing. And it literally, in the space of 6 months, we went from, as I like to use the example, this, a little pond, to an entire ocean. Because I remember it was one of the first classes I did. You know, we had like 30-something slides. That was a class. Now a class is 40-something, 50-something, 80-something slides.
Okay, I'm going to have to pause you there. Let's just backtrack for a second for people who may not know what drones are. I mean, if you're living under a rock. Can you backtrack and tell us what it is?
So, if you look at drones had a very long history. It was used in the early 1800s as first basic technology, balloons and stuff like that. But more or less in the 20th century, it was more for hobbyists. Hobbyists was the ones who, you know, you go out in the park and you're flying a little thing. And over the years, it developed a lot, whereby it moved from just being a hobbyist, fun, recreational thing to an entire industry. So you will, even now, if I go in a field of savannah and people come, because it's not new technology, but it's new to a lot of people here. And that was one of the reasons why we developed the program, just to put the knowledge across. So you see this little thing flying about with the little propellers and it buzzing up and down, because even in like for Christmas, you know, it's these small ones with all the lights, and a lot of people, the first day they try to fly it and just fly off in the air and it's gone. It's like, it's not, those were the toys. No.
Sorry, so from a educator's perspective, what gaps do you think there are that need to be filled, or that you see for that this training program intend to do? There's a lot of gaps. Number one, the law. A lot of people don't know about the law when it comes to drones, how high to fly, how far you can fly, all of these things. So civil aviation there is laws in place. And I think it was 2016 that the laws were officially published. But even though it's out there, a lot of people don't know. They don't know the ethical considerations. I remember not too long ago, actually, this month, there was a video on TikTok, and a drone pilot was flying over Scarlet Ibis. And immediately some of my students were like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that, you know. I said, like, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing that. But if it was before the classes, they would have been doing the same thing. So there's a lot of things to consider. You have to study your neighbors, because, hey, it's a camera that is flying. So you imagine you take off this thing by your neighbor's house. The first thing they're thinking, you looking inside my bedroom. So there's a lot of things that has to be taken into place, a lot, and the information is not really out there per se.
So the core goals of this operation is simply education?
It's training, not just the education part, but training in the different aspects of drone technology. So as I said before, there's the farming industry, right? You don't really hear about that in Trinidad. But if you go to Asia, it's a big thing. It's commonplace. Everyone has a Agras T or what, or T50. They have these drones, even in North America. They move from the planes, would fly down the crop dusters, and from that drone, because it's more cost effective. One, the yield is a lot more than you have a feel as untreated, because how these drones design now, just the crop wash from the drone itself spreads the plant, so the chemicals could be easily seeded onto the plant. You have monitoring for wildlife. There's a whole lot of different things. A lot of industries. You pick an industry, and I am positive I could find a use for you.
I could see it in media, but what about media?
Well, media definitely, right? Okay, look at racing, whether it be circuit racing, drifting, whatnot. They use FPV drones for that, because these drones can go over 100 miles per hour. They could tight angle. Media, cricket, they have drones using for cricket, for football, for almost any sport that's outdoor. Construction, surveying, there's a lot of different usage. And for me, it was a personal thing. A few years back, there was an incident in South where a toddler had gone missing, and we were on the ground. Drones up in the air, we searching, and because you have a drone now, you can search a wider area faster. You can continue the search in the night because some drones have thermal imagery, so you can see the heat signature from a person. I mean, the search wasn't successful. So the toddler had passed away, and that to me was a bad taste in my mouth.
Was it because the drone technology came in a little bit too late?
Not really too late. The pilot who was there actually was from the police service, and he didn't know how to use the drone properly. So I asked, I said, hey, can I operate it instead? He said he had strict orders that no one beside him could. And
I think, that story would kind of lead to my next question I wanted to ask. You know, how do you envision the drone piloting program to support or improve our nation's, safety infrastructure, safety landscape?
Safety-wise?
In terms of national security.
National security-wise, we can use it for so many different applications. The prison service, as how shall I say, doesn't have enough staff. We always hear them complaining, we don't have enough people. And then you have to look at the integrity. Can I trust someone to not be influenced by a prisoner or a gang member or whatnot? You have a drone that can be automated. The entire system can be automated, that can do patrols around the prison. Doesn't matter weather conditions, doesn't matter time of day or night. This thing can fly and give live feed. We can have a command center that shows all the information. There's something called a dock. Right? There's a dock. There's 3 different versions of them now, where the drone's inside is for remote use. It opens up, the drone launch, she flies his route, comes back, closes, uploads all the information automatically.
Yeah. No. I understand some drones are silent, so you don't.
Very silent. I don't know if you guys were in TIC.
They were right next to us.
You personally. It's about tactical. They did their display, and as I say, it was pure showmanship, because they used the drone, they launched it. The drone announced, "Hey, we're doing our thing in 5 minutes." When it started, they used the spotlight from the drone to highlight what they're doing, and the dock opened up, so it was, and then they had a live feed. So the nice thing about the dock, you could be anywhere in the world and operate it. And that's just for the prison service. You're looking at traffic monitoring. I don't know if you guys would have remembered when I say many years ago, I'm talking about like over 40 years or however long, there was Cessna used to give traffic reports. You can use drones for that now. For police, in terms of, we had the helicopter that you have to call from Piaco to come. You have certain units spread out. They could actually have drones to utilize, so they have a bird's eye view of what's going on the ground. Defense Force is the same thing. Even for border patrols, you can utilize drones, and not the big predator drones that you see in America. There's smaller versions. One drone could fly 25 kilometers or even further.
So is it that you're using, because when you said something about it being remote, is it that you're using artificial intelligence in any way? So can I be at home and I'm like, okay, drone number 2 that is in Asia or something, fly this X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, from your computer, you can do that.
I wonder if there's like a part where you can talk.
No, not yet.
Is it coming?
Not yet.
Exactly. That would be so.
I have to say not yet, because when you look at the agriculture sector, I like to use that part because that has a very fast development. When you look at it in the past 5 years, it went from, as I said, someone with a spray on their back and they have to pump, to a drone. And when you look at it, something that's taking a crew of 7 people probably a week, you can get that done in an hour. So it's very much evolving. It's a fast and very interesting industry. There's so many, as I said before, there's so many applications you can use it for. So many. Even delivery.
Yeah.
delivery.
Actually, I think in the US they do that.
They use it for Amazon.
Yeah.
And in Asia, they actually use it for, you could stand up by a booth, vending machine, and you place your order. You sit and wait for 5 minutes, and drone comes, he lands on the vending machine, goes down inside, cling, and yeah, beverage, anything to eat, and it's right there.
See, this is contributing to the laziness of a generation.
I wouldn't say it's laziness, but it has a lot of practical applications.
Yeah.
A lot of practical.
With that, we also need to put in some type of regulation. Can you tell us a little bit more about the regulations that currently exist?
So the regulations that we have in place, it more or less mirrors what it has around the world in terms of altitude restrictions, no-fly zone. So Port of Spain is a no-fly zone. Airports are no-fly zone, because you don't want to have a drone flying over an airport with plane, people on it. That's lives. Then the reserves, parks, no-fly zone. So there's a lot of different aspects to it. So what ASTI is trying to do is to train responsible pilots. We need that part, because as I tell my students, you can have 100 people doing the right thing. One person makes a mistake, just one, and everyone is labeled with that one person, and we're trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
So we train them not just about the legal part of it, we train them for different aspects. So some of my students, one of them is an engineer from WASA, another is in surveying, and I like to tell them there's a difference between fly and fly. They both sound the same. One is a person who picks up a controller and just flies a drone. That's the average guy. And then there's the other person who flies responsibly. And that is what we want. We want for accountability parts of it, because yes, drones can be used for good, but they could also be used for bad. When you have a drone that could lift up 100 kilograms, someone who is into drugs or whatnot can, but to me, the benefits outweigh the bad part of it.
Yeah.
It outweighs. So I try to look at the positive uses for the technology, and as well as what could come. Because a lot of things that is happening outside hasn't reached here as yet. A lot.
Yeah.
So,
Jason, I wanted to ask, do you see this partnership between ASTI and Tactical Support, creating exportable skills or services across the Caribbean and even internationally?
Yes, that is the goal. As Mr. Luke would have said, there's a difference between fly and fly. We want to operate with that total autonomy where there's no bad rep. All the pilots are trained not in just what Trinidad requires, but what Barbados, what St. Lucia, Jamaica, all the way to US, Canada, and UK. We take all of those different civil aviations and federal aviation authorities into effect. So when these students, these learners come in, we call them professionals, but when these professionals come in, they're learning the international standard.
Yeah.
So they're already at a higher pace than anything that currently exists. And that's the standard we want to keep replicating and improving upon.
Right. Will students be exposed to simulations and
yes.
collaborations like emergency responders and
yes, is an important part of everything. So we were talking a little bit earlier about what areas we're in, and I happened to mention that we have a partner in China that we have an exclusive simulation that allows not just how to fly, but you can input different weather aspects. It could be sunny, it could be rainy, it could be windy. You could be flying next to, next to buildings, next to obstacles. But you could also learn the search and rescue application, fire applications, all the different national security aspects, all the way to electrical tower inspections.
Yeah.
You'll get a virtual simulation, and it's actually programmed to the individual's controller. So that same controller, what they learn on the PC, is exactly how it functions in the real world. So it has direct implications, and it constantly evolves as well. So something new comes out, and they'll update. So now our students, our learners, our professionals, they have access to the simulator, not just on their PC, but on their controllers themselves. So they could be anywhere in the world, and they could practice.
Does it easy to fly a drone?
Yes.
The first time I tried, I will say I did try my best to not do it properly, and it stops you from crashing. Okay. It has obstacle avoidance. It does have artificial intelligence integrated into it, and obviously AI can think faster than we can. So it reacts faster than our brain can. So it's a tandem partnership. As far as long distance flights, there's the subject matter experts, I like to refer to him as, because 5 minutes might not sound like a lot of flight time, but when you're staring up into the sky and it takes a toll on you. So the 25, 40-minute flights, Mr. Luke has experience with that, and he relays that experience to the students. So,
So in terms of mapping, because with what you're saying in these longer flights, is it that the student would have to learn routes and area space and all these different things, or is it the AI in the drone, would kind of know the landscape?
Okay, for mapping, it's not just the AI part of it, but it's the personal as well. So you can set your area that you want, and the drone will follow the terrain and map the terrain as it goes along, right? So it uses something called LiDAR or photogrammetry. So one is laser-based and one is camera-based in terms of taking photos, where it layers over, and you can actually get a nice three-dimensional view of the area or land or whatnot. Now, this is not just used for mapping. You can use it to check for plant health as well. So there's a lot of applications for one part of it. So what Jason was saying in terms of the sim training, there's training for every industry. So there's one for the agriculture, there's one for construction, there's one for search and rescue, there's one for fire, there's one for inspection of electrical towers, for the oil and gas industry. There's literally training for every part of it, as well as for the military. Yeah, so the simulator is literally complete. And as I said before, because technology is evolving, the simulator as well is always being updated and evolving as well. So when you do the simulator training, it's not just, I'm going to fly on a computer. You still have to go outside and practice what you learned on that simulator. So let's say we covered search and rescue for this week. The next week, you're going to be practicing that actually in real life scenarios. You have someone walk out into a field and using the same grid patterns and search patterns, how to find someone. So there's the simulator training, but there's also the practical application for it as well. So when someone actually graduates, they're ready. It's not, well, I only practice on a screen and a computer. No, they actually have that training. So it's about tactical. They use drones for vehicle recovery as well. They're out there in the real world, right? So with our collaboration partnership, we can train their people, and our students now could get a taste of what it's like in the real world.
Yeah.
So that's why the partnership is important, because as I said, they're out there already, they're on the ground. We're dealing with the training part of it. And the ironic thing is that this field is not new. You see drones all over. You see it on TV everywhere. Check up on the computer and see how many schools in Trinidad has drone training. and you can't find anyone. You literally can't find anyone.
So the ASTI certifies young pilots or pilots who want to be exposed to drone technology. You certify.
Right. So because of the nature of the technology, we do have some requirements for entry. So we do cater to the younger students. We'll teach them how to do it properly, but the majority of the individuals in these classes are going to be more mature entry, maybe 21 and up. We have different levels as well. So there's the introductory, a more advanced introductory for somebody who's a little more familiar, a little more mature, but then it goes into the operations certificate and then the diploma level certification. So we're expanding, each week, each month we're expanding.
Can someone fly without the certification?
We would not recommend it. Reason being, all the different factors of privacy, safety, security, ethical considerations, legalities, and the regulations. If you don't know how much your drone weighs and you launch that, well, you're in violation of a regulation and you're breaking the law. So we want to make sure that all of our pilots, we want to inspire everybody to take this education and learn the proper thing and apply it properly.
What kind of job opportunities or career opportunities would a graduate of this program have?
There's a lot. We formed a lot of strategic partnerships. It's not just business deals, but we want to partner with companies that share our vision, share our mission. We've teamed up with Job Hunters TT. So there are companies that we work with that give us a listing of requirements for jobs. So in this industry, we have people who are in the agriculture section, media section, security, all that. And the top scoring students, top scoring participants are able to go into job placements. So that's also another benefit of getting the education. You're not only being taught how to do it the right way, but once you apply yourself, you'll be rewarded. There's not many schools that will bend over backwards to get you a job after. Most schools, I think, their commitment to you finishes once they give you that printed certificate. Ours extends beyond that, and that's the difference between Advanced Solutions and a lot of the other people we'd refer to as competition in a normal sense. But I don't think we have any competition in our provisions for our participants.
I wanted to ask about I remember earlier this year during the carnival season, it was the first time that, I witnessed like a drone show in the sky, right? And I wanted to ask about that because I didn't know that, I've seen that on social media internationally, but I've never seen it here. So the fact that was here, and it was really interesting, really cool. It created all these different patterns and pictures and in the sky and writings. And can you tell us how about that? Like how does that work? Is that something that you all do?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's basically drone swarm technology.
Right.
So when you look at a light show, it's not 10 drones, it's not 100 drones, it's 500, 1,000 drones. Definitely you can't have 500 drones flying in the air and you have 500 people operating it.
Yeah.
Because the computer is doing everything.
So that's fully AI?
Yes, fully autonomous. And now the thing about it is, it looks nice, but eventually, as time goes on, what I'm seeing, it's going to take over from fireworks.
Yes.
Because a lot of people have an issue with fireworks. The people, for the noise, for their pets, especially for their pets, because some people have to give the dogs the tablets to sleep and just to calm them down, or bring them in the house and whatnot. Yeah. You have a light show with a drone, no noise. Yeah. You're getting the awe factor, the oohs and the ahs, but no noise.
Yeah.
It's nice and quiet. You can actually talk and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? So, as I said before, we don't teach that as yet, but it's something that eventually we might get into, right? It's a very nice and interesting thing because, as you see, you can see the shapes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, because it happened a few times over the carnival season this year, and each time the crowd just stops. Everybody stops, stops, and everybody's looking up, and it's one of the most incredible things I've seen, you know. So how soon do y'all think y'all will get into that drone swarming?
Well, I can't say that as yet because that's a degree of programming as well.
Okay.
Because you have to program the drones, of course, to fly within a certain distance from each other, all the spacing and whatnot. So I can't say yet, but I can see it coming for sure. Now, it's, as I said, it's not 10 or 15 drones. You're looking at 500, 1,000 drones. If you go online, you can see how they set it up. And it's hours before, and one guy walks on, they have to put down these drones individually spaced and make sure they're fully charged. So you have to make sure 1,000 drones charged. Everybody's on, everybody's linked properly. And it's a lot of work behind the scenes to get that nice light show. Yeah. And they fly for about, what, 15, 20 minutes? Yeah.
And I would assume it's not, the cost of it is probably not, not cheap.
It will be for the drones themselves, definitely for the drones themselves. It's not going to be too, I shouldn't say too expensive, but it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Expense is relative.
And I was saying, because with the, how you said that could eventually take over fireworks, right? Yeah. I mean, in terms of cost, would it be realistic for the average Jane and Joe who, you know, likes fireworks on Independence or New Year's to decide fireworks or a drone show? You know, in terms of cost, it may not make sense.
Well, let's say you're a person who wants to have this business. Your initial cost is just going to be for the drones. Yeah. But once you have your drones, you have your personnel to help with the setup. The programming part, whatever flight patterns and design you want is more or less simple. After that, as I said, the initial buy, then you really don't have an expense per se, transportation for the most, right? I will reference the a video I saw last week on someone from America, farmer actually. And they said, listen, the buy for this drone was, they paid like $32,000 for our grass. And next to them, there was a big John Deere sprayer machine. And this thing is like $500,000. And the drone for 32 is going to do the same job. So they were wondering, did I make a mistake here? And within the first season, they realized, hold up, my crop yield is more than previous times, because as I said, when the drone is flying over, it actually spreads the plant. So the chemical, whatever fertilizer, is evenly distributed on the plants properly. So they were able to get a better yield. And it's not just, as I said before, it's not just about spraying, they could actually analyze the crops to see if it's healthy, check the soil. So the initial expense, of course, is going to be something, but when you look at it over time, it's relatively cheap.
So it seems like industries are now waking up to the prospect of what drone technology can offer them.
Yes.
So does that mean that, do you guys anticipate a lot more business, a lot more work coming in?
Yes,
definitely. Definitely hope so.
How long is the training for a pilot that wants to come in?
There's different durations. So the introductory levels, you're looking at anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks. The certificates is usually about a 3-month duration. That includes not just in-class time, but the simulation aspects, the physical testing aspects, and going through. So it could go a little bit longer just to make sure that everybody grasps the concepts. And then we have the piloting certification, and we're expanding into the associate's degree level and bachelor's degree to integrate some of the more robust features like programming and robotics into it. So we're moving towards the swarm technology and building up to it slowly. So anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months, 8 months, depending on what they want to do. Somebody who's in media applications compared to national security. It's two different routes of training. So obviously one is going to be very intense, one's going to be strictly monitored and regulated, and if anything changes, then we have to shift and we have to be able to adapt and evolve as well. So there's durations. We also have different accommodations as well, because people work, people have families, there's religion, so many different factors. So we're very unique in the sense that if you can't make it to class on a weekend or a weekday, well, there's the nights. We have a revolutionary streaming platform, so we can actually stream an entire 5-hour class. So we could be at home, and the students who can only get online at 10 p.m., we could accommodate that 10 p.m. And if we have to go till 2 a.m. teaching, we're excited to do it. Extremely.
I have 2 students right now. One is actually from Tobago, and one is right now, he's offshore. Yeah. So when we have classes going on, there's persons in class, yes, but there's a stream. My screen is shared. Everyone is seeing. I have my mic, and they're hearing everything. So if they have a question, they just simply speak. They don't have to press a button to raise a hand. They can just speak, and the entire class hears everything. As I said, it's not I talk, you listen. It's I talk, question, discuss. We have a full interactive class. Yeah.
Has there been any interest or support from government agencies or any type of regional body in terms of helping to expand or integrate this kind of training?
We're in talks with everybody right now. Part of the requirements is we need to have a stable program, and we need to ensure everybody's on the same page. So we are in talks with multiple different agencies and different companies and bodies to make sure and let them be comfortable with knowing who ASTI is and why this program exists and why it's so much different than anything that has existed before. Because we touched on it earlier, you could look for this program everywhere in Trinidad, but this is the flagship program, and it is the most unique of its kind.
So branding is the gap there? Branding of ASTI specifically? Because what I'm getting from what you're saying is that people need to be able to trust in what your product is.
Yes.
So once that is set, does that mean that you guys are just going to take off way past where you are now?
No. We're going to be exactly where we are. The only thing that might change is that we expand our operations. But we're always involved. Some of our other programs, for example, we deal with fiber optics, CCTV, robotics, computer programming, all the hands-on technical things that you don't get to learn it just from reading a textbook. There has to be somebody, an expert, who's able to take his field experience and bring it to you. In my position, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without somebody who did it for 15, 20 years, teaching me and showing me the ropes.
Yeah.
That goes from going into the military at the age of 17 to this position now. So the mission might have changed, but the way that we would go about accomplishing the mission isn't going to.
What about financial aid or scholarships or
Yes.
partnerships to support students?
All right, so we accommodate for all of that. We've partnered up with JMMB for financial solutions. So not only can students get full financing for their programs through our preferred partnership, we offer payment plans, flexible payment plans depending on your budget, depends on the duration of the course, and we offer partial scholarships. So all anybody needs to do to get into a program is legitimately just call us with an interest in something. And we have, this is not an exaggeration, we have thousands of programs and opportunities available, not just on the academic side, but through our partnerships, we have industrial applications as well. So career training, career advancements, upskilling, reskilling, we're full service.
So take for example, my name is Jamie, right? I just graduated school. I just got my bachelor's in some sort of agriculture or something. And I'm listening to this interview now and I'm interested. I call ASTI and say, okay, I have this certification and I want to learn how to use drone technology for a business I want to start, farm, some kind of farming something. Help me.
We'll help you.
How?
All it takes legitimately is just a call. You reach out to the registrar, reach out to the marketing team or the recruitment, whoever. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We do live everywhere. We're here right now. The office is open Monday to Saturday. We function as often as the business requires.
Where's the office located?
We're on 46 Boundary Road in San Juan. So it's relatively central to everything, but our phones are always on. So all it takes is a phone call. You'll get into a consultation with the academic dean, and you'll also speak with Mr. Luke. There'll be a full consultation process, make sure that we want to know where you want to go, and we'll also make sure that it's what you want to do. There's a lot of times where people do something and it's for the money, or it's for something, but they don't want to do it. So part of the academics dean job and part of my role is to make sure that you're where you want to be. And we want to know where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And we build a career progression plan for you. So you just work with us from anything down to how to take notes, how to budget your time, if you have a busy home life or you're home during the day but you can't study, the office is open. We have students that they'll come in on a Saturday morning and the staff will leave. You know, the building is closed, business is done for the week, but we'll have a student still studying there. And we'll stay for 2 hours, 3 hours after, make sure that they're grasping everything, the assessments are good. So it's a full holistic learning experience where you're not just sitting at a desk. You have interaction, you have people that care about you.
My next question is more so for anybody that's out there that's hearing this and their interest is piqued, but sometimes when you're hearing about stuff like this, drone and all these technological things, you're probably like, oh, I wasn't smart in school, I didn't do good in math, I didn't do good in engineering, whatever. But they're interested, but they're thinking it's too much. They may be a little bit intimidated by all of these different words. What would you say to them?
Still try. It might be technical, it might sound technical, but when I teach, I don't believe in, how should I say, I'm bringing across the information, I'm giving you all the nice, high technical words, and by the time I'm finished speaking, you have no idea what I just said. That does not make sense. That's not teaching. Teaching, it means I have to break down the technical words into a way that you could understand and grasp it, right? And then I'm going to work with you now. Work with you so I ensure that you understand. I'm not going to be teaching something that you don't understand. Or, you know, I finished part of the subject and I go to another part, but you didn't understand the very first one. So it's just going to keep piling up on you. That is not teaching. Definitely not.
That could become overwhelming. And then that can become overwhelming. And then I'm sure there's like some sort of math that you have to do, maybe when it comes to mapping and all of these different things.
Well, as I said before, you get from the basics, go right up. So it's, as I would tell them, I said, listen, for everything that you are taught, make sure and read. continuously read, so you can understand. We have a group, a WhatsApp group chat. So anyone has a question any time of the day, send a message, call, say something. I'll answer it. The last set of posts I made on the group was about 2 o'clock this morning. Anything with drones that, anything with drones that we see that would be interesting, hey, send the link to the group so everyone could see what you just saw and we have a discussion about it. So it's, as I said, it's not just classroom. It's not just that. It's a full circle. So everyone is informed. Everyone's on the same page. You know, we making sure that you understand what is taught, because it's not just the classroom part of it. There's an online part that you have to pull up the curriculum. So it's a lot of reading, a lot. When you hear 80-something slides, that's a little bit compared to when you log on and you see the information. So, but the thing is, because it's continuously overlapping, some of the things that you're learning further on is what you would have covered before. So it's just emphasizing what you learned. So you're going on, and then say, wait now, but we did this before, so it clicks.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything is interlocked. So that's how the learning comes into play. It's simplified. Yes, it's technical. I'm not going to lie. It's technical, but it's also simplified, so you can understand. And if you don't understand, ask a question. I like to say there was a phrase we used to use in Army: dashboard puppy. Yeah, you know, sometimes your grandfather car, there's a little puppy thing, and his head is only going up and down. So when you ask the question, do you understand? But inside you don't understand. It's not like that. As I tell them, in the class, that's where we can get everything wrong. You can make all the mistakes. No one's going to chastise you. Make your mistakes here, because when you go outside into the real world, that's when you have to have it right. So it's not, I'm going to laugh at you. We have a full discussion. We laugh, we talk, you know. One of the guys, he follows the war in Ukraine high. Yeah, he follows it, and there's always something, some technology, and sometimes even in the class it's like, let's leave that for after, because we will get sidetracked. Yes, but it's not as hard as you might think. Anyone can do it, anyone.
Classes, I don't know how you guys were in school, but most times you're waiting for the bell to ring, and there have been times where I've been working on a project, has to get done for tomorrow morning, and class is going on, and they're in class longer than I'm in work. You know, it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, 9:30. I think there was a class that went on for about 5 hours.
5 hours. Yeah.
So there's learning, and there's education, and there's teaching, and then there's what we deliver and how we deliver it. Because, as you said, you might struggle with math.
How did I get myself away? Okay.
We would pick it up, right? You put down that 1 + 1 = 2.5, right? Might be a terrible example, or it might be accurate. Who knows? But somebody would pick that up, and we're not going to come to you and say, hey, you're wrong. It's, hey, how did you get to this here? Explain to me. And you miswrote something. So we figured out what the problem is. So now we work on making sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So you might not get 1 + 1 next time. You might get half plus a half plus a half plus a half. Let's see if you learn from that.
Yeah.
So is fully involved, fully
That's incredible.
interactive.
I think any classroom where your students don't want to leave, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself.
In one of the previous classes, I remember we had an exam. So it was out of 50. One student, he had the lowest score in the whole class. He got 42. And he sent me an apology. message. It's like, I'm sorry to disappoint. It's like, disappoint? You got 42 out of 50. I said, listen, there's nothing to be disappointed about. At least you would know what mistakes you made, and you could learn from it. And he said, like, I really appreciate that. It's not like I'm going to dong at you. No. What mistakes were made? Okay, we need to correct this. So for the next time, you're not going to have 42, you're going to get 50 out of 50, and you'll be happy, you know. So it's not, as I said, it's not a chastising thing. It's a learning environment that everyone is comfortable and should feel comfortable.
Yeah. So what has been the most exciting or surprising part of launching this program, both of you?
Well, for me, there's only so much that comes off a screen. I was heavily involved. We're working with the National Training Agency, NTA, to develop something for the region. So part of my role and responsibilities is helping out with different projects. So I've been able to see this framework evolve, but actually going into the field and seeing, he had to tell me to pick my jaw up off the ground a couple times, because what I saw and what could be possible, it blew my mind. Seeing the drone launch from the back of a truck, where I know some of the other applications that is exciting to know what we're providing, and it's exciting to know that people are going to start to get excited once they start seeing this, once they start getting comfortable with it, because everybody knows, what a UAV is. Everybody's played Call of Duty, and they know somebody that. So everybody knows what a UAV is.
An unmanned aerial.
Yes,
I asked y'all that before we started the interview, and it only just clicked. That's Call of Duty.
So there's an unmanned aerial vehicle, and then there's an unmanned aerial system, and they're very similar, but two different terminologies that might be intimidating at first, until you realize,
and having a conversation.
And that's the whole point of it. The teaching experience isn't supposed to be stressful. Learning isn't supposed to be stressful. You learn better when you're excited and you're doing something you love. And it's our hope to inspire that passion, not just in drones, but
and I think
across
also
the board.
when you're in something that's very interactive, so not just hands-on, but with your lecturers or teachers, being able to communicate freely with them, you learn so much as well.
There's always
for me, my experience, what has me excited, what is how fast it's evolving, because it was supposed to be just a normal, simple class, Now we're looking at expanding all over. We're looking at different systems. What the possibility lies, what could come, I'm excited to see. In TIC Friday, there was an exhibit. It was a robotic dog. And I'm looking at this thing, it's like, I know about robotic dogs, but the only thing that's coming to mind, this is a drone on legs. That's all I'm seeing, a drone on legs. Because drones are not just something flying in the air. We have the submersible versions of them as well. And then there's this dog. And I'm looking at it and seeing the possibilities of it. They were using it for to grab the attention of people walking by. Right. So I'm asking them, I say, no, this is just for display. 24,000 piece of equipment just for display, and having it sit up and jumping and okay. But I'm looking at it because it has a camera, so you can see. It's fully autonomous if you want. It has something called a LiDAR module, so it can map the entire area. You can walk through everything here without bouncing, go around, go underneath, whatever. And I say, hey, that is something that can be used for search and rescue. You have earthquake, building collapse. You have to now, instead of trying to send someone, you can send this piece of equipment. And I came back and I spoke to Dr. Peters. Hey, this is a nice piece of, and we sent a message to them immediately. Immediately. So it's the possibilities, as I said, are endless. Endless. So one of the things we want to do is the ROVs as well. That's the ones that use in water. So there's places here that train personnel, but when you look at the cost, it's expensive. It's like $50,000, $40,000. So eventually that will be a part of it that we want to get into as well. And who knows? Every year a new model comes out. Every year something new is something new to the technology. It's like a cell phone. You know, you have the latest one today, and 6 months later there's something new. And from what I would have seen in terms of where they came from, basic drones, as I said, you could only fly in this room. Now you could send a drone 15 kilometers, 25 kilometers. A drone can fly 4 hours up in the air. And I'm not speaking about military applications. You have drones now flying and spraying fields, whether it be day or night. There's a company out of Europe that they use the drones to power wash buildings. So I see a future where the drone technology is just going to keep getting better and better. China has one that they're trying to launch. It's for transportation. Sit down in it, everything is fully autonomous. And you fly point A to point B. They're trying to get it up and running. They have prototypes and they're testing and stuff like that. It's not really available for the public yet, but eventually going to get there. So, you know, how we have traffic on the ground, eventually going to have these things,
exactly
these things zipping,
in my mind. It's not
these
traffic
things
in the air.
zipping overhead. So, you know, I believe it's better to be ahead of the technology than to try to catch up to it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep ahead, trying to inform, because I would have used a reference in my first year in Army. I had something called a camel pack. I bought that. It's a bag with a pouch to hold water. And I remember I riding my bicycle, and I stopped and I pull out my tube and I drinking water. Somebody, what's that? A camel pack. Fast forward a few years now, you see people, athletes have the bag with the, and nobody's going to ask, what is that? And nobody's going to ask that. And right now, that's how drone technology is. What is that? How far that could go? You get the questions.
Hearing and listening to you now, I want to ask, do you think that these drones could, how far do you think it can reach here in Trinidad? Because in terms of the example you gave just now with that innovative thing in China with the
delivery.
In Trinidad, we have in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of, and probably the Caribbean, a lot of power lines, overhead lines. Do you think that is something that has to be corrected in order for these drone technology to reach far here?
Not really, because the technology is already in use. The drones have obstacle avoidance systems. So in the early models, it was only forward obstacle avoidance. Now there's omnidirectional. So the drone could see in the front of it, to the side of it, below and above it, as well as behind. So if you're flying the drone and sees the wall, in the early models, it would stop. Now if there's something in front of it, it can choose whether to go over or around it. And this could happen without you giving any input. You could just let your drone go and he can do everything automatically. So the technology is here. And with how the LiDAR technology advancing now, they can see the power lines, so they could avoid it, literally avoid it. So it's not much of a concern per se in terms of power lines and stuff or structures, because now, that technology is already here. One of the some of the newer models like the Mavic 4 that got launched on the 13th of May, I think. this thing, in the previous versions, when it gets dark, it can't see properly the obstacle avoidance because, of course, it's using vision sensors. Not anymore. This thing can operate in low light scenarios as well. It can see obstacles. So the technology is here.
Mr. Luke, I think we are beginning to share your passion. I mean, not all the way there, but I can definitely see this is something that's very exciting, and I'm sure the people at home and people that you've spoken to beforehand can get so much out of what you guys are doing. So
that's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Thank you so much for coming on AM Prime.
Not a problem.
Thank you so much for having us. It has been an absolute pleasure on behalf of our institutes and everyone involved. We really want to thank you guys, and excited for the next meeting with the updates, and hopefully we'll get to see you guys in a couple of classes, even if it's not drones. You know, we can teach a little technology, a little robotic.
It's really interesting. It's like, I know my dad, I'm sure he's watching this, and he's like, what? Because I know he'll be interested in this. Everything you're saying, you seem like you and him can talk for hours. Hours. But again, thank you so much, Mr. Luke and Mr. Singh.
Thank you very
for coming
much.
on. It's
Appreciate
absolute
you guys.
pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so, I mean, that kind of brings us to the end of AM Prime this morning. The conversation was long, but it was super packed with great information and great guests. So, as you know, you can always find us on WESN-CC, WESN-TV. If you have any questions, any suggestions, if you just want to talk to us, you can find Naomi at Naomi McNish on Instagram, and I am Jada McLeod on Instagram as well. Or you can WhatsApp us, 682-9376, 682-9376. And if you want to get involved with Advanced Solutions, you can find them on basically anything.
Yes.
They're everywhere. Everywhere. So Advanced Solutions Technology Institute.
Technical Institute.
Technical Institute.
Correct. You can reach us, 610-7500 is the office number. You can always reach us on WhatsApp at 727-8562. And then anywhere on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on LinkedIn. Just Google Advanced Solutions. And we're the only one that comes up, right?
How about that? So for our quote for today, it says, "Don't wait for extraordinary opportunities. Seize common occasions and make them great." Don't wait for extraordinary opportunities. Seize common occasions and make them great, which is what Advanced Solutions has done in a big way.
I think we've been doing so well with the quote of the day because it's been aligning perfectly with the theme of the show and our discussions. So thank you guys for joining us this morning. Stay safe, stay inspired, stay informed, and do not go too far. We have Sean Michael Small on the hour of 8 o'clock with Talking Points up next. Thank you. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Hi, I'm Claudette, radiographer at the radiology departments at the community hospital. We offer high-quality service with state-of-the-art equipment in X-ray, ultrasound, CT, and mammogram. Come, our friendly staff awaits you.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health.